think how much of life happens in a car? Morning commutes, late night drives with the windows down, singing along to songs way too loud, picking up fast food on a Sunday when you're too lazy to cook. In America, the car is more than just a way to get around. It's a piece of who we are, a little slice of freedom on four wheels. But it wasn't always this way. Let's take it back. Way back, before Teslas were driving themselves and Mustangs were tearing up highways. Back when a car was still a wild idea. This is the story of how America fell in love with the road. Part 1, The Spark, 1890s to 1920s. Close your eyes and picture the 1890s. No freeways, no traffic lights, just horses, wagons, and bumpy cobblestone streets. Then, out of garages, barns, and workshops, come a bunch of curious inventors, rolling out loud, strange-looking machines. Some ran on steam, some on gasoline. A few were even electric. In 1893, two brothers, Charles and Frank Duryea, built what's considered the first American gas-powered car. It was clunky, noisy, not exactly comfortable, but it worked, and that was the beginning. Fast forward to 1908. Enter Henry Ford. Ford wasn't just trying to build a car. He wanted to build one that regular folks could afford. So he came up with a Model T. It was simple, rugged, cheap, and it changed everything. Then in 1913, he took things up a notch. He introduced the move-in assembly line. Suddenly, cars could be built in a fraction of the time and at a fraction of the cost. The car went from being a rich man's toy to something almost every American could dream of owning. And with more cars came roads and gas stations and diners with neon signs and milkshakes. The automobile wasn't just changing how we got around. It was shaping how we lived. Part 2, Tough Roads, Big Dreams, 1930s to 1950s. The 1930s brought the Great Depression. Money was tight, but the auto industry kept moving. Designs got sleeker. Brands like Cadillac and Packard added a touch of glamour, even in hard times. Then came the 1940s and World War II. Suddenly, Detroit wasn't making cars. It was building tanks, jeeps, bombers. They called it the arsenal of democracy. Civilian cars? Frozen in time. But when the war ended, everything exploded. In the best way. GIs came home, families grew, suburbs popped up, and people needed cars. Lots of them. Ford, GM, and Chrysler answered the call. The 1950s were a golden era. Big cars, big chrome, big dreams. You had the Chevrolet Bel Air, the Cadillac Eldorado, cars that looked like they were built to fly. Tail fins soared, engines roared. America hit the road like never before. To own a car wasn't just practical. It meant you were going places, literally and figuratively. Part 3, Soul, Speed, and Shift, 1960s to 1980s. Then came the 60s, and everything got louder, faster, flashier. Young people didn't just want cars, they wanted power, style, attitude. The muscle car era was born. In 1964, Ford dropped the Mustang. It was cool, fast, and surprisingly affordable. Chevy followed with the Camaro. Pontiac brought the GTO. Suddenly, every teen in America wanted to race down Main Street on a Friday night. But it wasn't all muscle and chrome. There was another car making waves, the Volkswagen Beetle. Tiny, weird, foreign, and somehow perfect. It wasn't about speed, it was about soul. It became the ride of choice for the counterculture. Painted with peace signs, filled with friends, it was a symbol of something different. Then the 1970s hit, and so did reality. gas shortages, long lines at the pump. America's love affair with big, thirsty cars took a hit. Enter Japan. Toyota, Honda, Datsun. Small, efficient, reliable. Exactly what the moment called for. Slowly but surely, Americans started trusting imports. And Detroit? It had to play catch-up. New rules came in. Seat belts were now mandatory. Emissions had to be cleaner. Safety and fuel economy mattered. Cars weren't just fun anymore. They had to be smart. The 80s were all about finding that balance. The Ford Taurus showed American brands could still innovate. Minivans took over as the family car of choice. And behind the scenes, computers started creeping in. Fuel injection, digital dashboards. Cars were quietly getting brainier. Part 4. Reinventing the ride, 1990s to today. By the 1990s, people just wanted cars that worked. No fuss, no drama. Enter the Toyota Camry, the Honda Accord, not exactly exciting, but dependable as sunrise. Meanwhile, something else was rising. The SUV, big, bold, and built for just about anything. The Ford Explorer. Jeep Grand Cherokee, the old-school station wagon quietly bowed out. Then came the 2000s, and with them, a personality crisis.